Hi my dear friends, this is Dmitro, your English tutor. In this little lesson we will continue practicing just describing photos on Duolingo English Test in writing. And I have already several videos about it, but we will keep up doing it because, as we all know, nobody is perfect at this skill, at this art. Right now I have opened a real photo, authentic Duolingo photo. I have tried to make the size as large as possible so that when we type, you see something, even if you're watching this lesson on your smartphone. And that's why the photo itself has become so large, so I have to scroll a little bit upwards and downwards for you to see the whole picture. I have opened it randomly and I love it. Now you see, here we don't have, as they say, pretty much anything. In the bottom, nothing either. So our protagonist here is a boy about, I don't know, 7 or 6 or 8, 9 years old, who is having fun, or maybe not fun at the moment, judging by his face, on his skateboard. Obviously he has descended right now the slope on the skateboard, and I think he's going to fall off his board. Okay, anyway, so my friends, let me please make such a methodical and philosophical intro for 1 minute to all of this, because maybe you are new to Duolingo and to my channel, so the philosophy and the approach to this is not less important as the language itself. So let's say that your success at this task consists entails two main factors. The first one is your language, obviously. The more beautifully you write, the higher your score. And the second one is your logic. Let's say logic, reasoning, methodology. Let's say logic. What I mean by this logic is, think about it in your native language. If you were describing this photo and I was listening to you, not looking at this photo, of course it would be much easier for me to imagine the situation if you proceeded describing it from the center, not from some top left corner, especially when there is nothing there, but in the center is the first post for us. The second one is action. Language is ruled by action, because action means change in the conditions, change in the world, change in the universe. So we are triggered, our reactions are triggered by action, by some change in the surroundings. So action in the center. You understand, my friend? If you have some action, because not all photos have action, sometimes we have landscape or something. So but when we have an action, it's much easier from my point of view to describe it. And we proceed to the center. So in this case it's a classic photo I have opened. We have a boy on his skateboard, so we will write the first sentence about him, what he's doing now. It would be very surprising if we started describing something here first, and then we would have no time to write about the boy. I'm sure we would have lost a lot of points, because our listener, not seeing this picture, would have a hard time imagining what's going on here. So, okay, your language and your logic. Then, if you have some time left, which is very debatable, I think, then you're welcome to describe. You decide in some microsecond whether you keep up describing the protagonist here, our hero, or describing the surroundings. If there is something really interesting there, especially influencing the center, then maybe If there is nothing special there, then I should realize why I'm doing this. I will lose points as long as I just describe, there is some gray floor, or gray material there, instead of describing the boy's face, But if something here is very important, or I can compensate my lack of reasoning with some beautiful language. But it's very difficult when you have 15 seconds left. That's why try please to focus on the center, on the action. You produce 2 good sentences, and I tell you, you will have more than 100 points for this. If you have 2 normal sentences, you will have a good score, maybe a super good score. If you produce 3 good sentences, my friend, with a diverse language, oh my god, you can have 120, 30, 40, as much as you like. Okay, so let's start. I never prepare for these videos, and as you can hear, I'm a non-native speaker, and so I have some mistakes. It's okay, nobody's perfect. So let's produce 2 impromptu sentences about this thing together. You like take an active part, not just listen. But remember that a real art of the speaker, or in our case of the writer, is to paraphrase, of course, in an ideal variant, my friend. Ideal. We should not repeat any word apart from prepositions like and, the, article, something like that. Yeah. So, but it's in 99% of cases it's impossible, because like skateboard, yeah, skateboard. If I had 1 hour, maybe I could write something like the equipment for developing your blah blah blah. It would seem weird, but when I have 60 seconds, the skateboard will be a skateboard. Or the helmet or the headgear is like, it would be the same. Yes, it's like if I try, instead of a headgear, protective headgear, write something like a specially designed, oh my god, like utility or facility for protecting or defending, the central computer of a human in case of emergency. Who knows? I don't know how Duolingo would treat that, but I think not very well. So we should try to change, not to repeat any word apart from obvious cases when we don't have any means of doing this. So let a skateboard be a skateboard 2 times if we need it, and the headgear 2 times if we need it. But remember please that we can always change the phrase or change the whole sentence to avoid repeating this. Yeah. And also, my friends, also what? Ing forms, let me write to you. ing forms. I give this strategy during our private lessons. A lot of guys, being stressed, they forget about this ing. For example, like let's say he's not smiling, but not focused. I mean not ing like smiling boy. No. But we can see a boy sliding down, sliding down the slope, ing, yes, or having slided down. It's even better. It's beautiful. It's not very difficult, this grammatical form, but it adds to your score. Mostly you forget about this, I tell you, in 9 out of 10 cases. Okay, so remember please, we will try, if we can, to input all of this. Okay, so 2 sentences, my friend. The first one, the center, yeah? We see a boy here in the center. In a fraction of a second, you decide what his emotions are. It's not a big deal if you confuse, like you think that he's happy while he's not happy. You can make a mistake. Or you consider him to be happy. I don't consider. So he's maybe frightened or scared, something like that, because he's going to fall. Okay, why I am voicing all this, because now we will move the boy upwards for you to see the actual description. So let's write together. Now I will do without long, stupid, empty introductions like in this polychromatic image one can observe blah blah blah. You will lose 20 precious seconds on this empty stuff. You understand that everybody, even not a very intellectually advanced person, can cram it by heart with his or her tutor. So I don't think the Duolingo will praise you for this. So let's just take the bull by the horns. Let's take the bull by the horns. So I write like a tremendously excited or agitated. Okay, excited. He's not little, so a tremendously excited boy is going, I think so, to fall off his skateboard. And now, we can like continue writing after doing something or having done something. You see, remember I told you about ing forms, yeah? A tremendously excited boy is going to fall off his skateboard having descended. Please mind your spelling, be very attentive about this. Having descended a. Now I wanted to draw your attention to a very important factor. I am not a great expert in skateboarding, let alone naming these facilities, so I don't know exactly how this all, I don't know, plastic or concrete thing is called. So the appellation for this I don't know, so I will call it a slope. You know, when we have something not horizontal but going downwards or upwards, we call it a slope. Sometimes incline, slope, something is tilting, but or if you forget any like everything, you can say it, call it a hill. Of course it's maybe not a hill, but so I will call it a slope, a downward slope. I mean, why downward? Because the boy has been moving down. Yes, if he was moving from the opposite, and it would be an upward slope, yes, for him. But now I think that he was moving like here, not there. But who knows? We don't have time to think about it. A tremendously excited boy is going to fall off his skateboard having descended a downward slope. And I think we should put a period here, because if I continue, and I can become entangled in my own thoughts and my own structures, and then I will lose the thread and make some mistakes. Of course, we realize that when it's a real test, maybe I will write it not so, maybe I will write it a little bit in a little bit inferior manner to this. Like, I will write it worse because I have 60 seconds and I'm very nervous. But the principle, you see, the principle is that we try to decorate our noun with some adjective or verbal adjective or some verbal construction, something like that. Then remember about ing, having done something or doing something. It's very precious, it's very beautiful. They decorate structures of all languages in which they may be utilized, such approaches. Yes, especially this is a, I don't even remember how it's called in English grammar. Perfect participle. Oh my God, I don't remember. Having descended, yes, a downward slope. Now the second sentence. You remember we should produce a second sentence, because even if I move it like, even if I leave it like this, it would be over 100 because it's good. You see, it's good, but it's too little. So we must add a second sentence. So my friends, let's see. Given that we don't have anything interesting going here on the boundaries, we should keep up describing the center and the action. So I can maybe write that the boy is trying to hold himself, pressing his hands against the surface, or maybe his legs are up in the air because the inertia, the momentum is carrying him. So, or maybe I can write that he's trying to balance himself, but he feels that anyway he's going to collapse. Yes, so please, if you have an opportunity and power, don't describe his clothes. I don't know, maybe other teachers teach you like to do, because describing the apparel of a person when there is a lot of action going on, I think is an indicator of your weak language. Because anybody can say that he is wearing, dark, trousers, black trainers, and what else? A jacket, a light jacket, and like something like that. It's the level of a third class student of a junior school. Yeah. So please try to produce something more interesting. But if in 1 second, after your 1 second consideration, you feel that you will not do it, then write about their clothes. It's much better than not to write anything. Even if you have 10 seconds or more, please write something. If you have 3 seconds, let it be, but if you have 10-15 seconds, of course, those are very valuable seconds which can help us, save us, and may probably save the whole test. So I have given you 3 or 4 interesting things, so I don't care what to write about. Let's write about his hands and legs together. I don't know whether I will be able to do it. So he is obviously, I just put this obviously to show that I know an interesting adverb, obviously. Obviously. He is obviously trying to keep his balance. He's obviously trying to keep his balance, feeling that or anticipating that. Okay, let's use anticipating. It's much more powerful. Anticipating the unavoidable or imminent, unavoidable or looming fall. You know, anyway, he's going to fall down. So his balance, anticipating the unavoidable. The unavoidable. You know, we have had already fall. The unavoidable landing. Let's add a shade of humor. And if I have 3 seconds, like on the surface. Why? Because I want to show the algorithm that I know the word suffix. Okay. Yes. He's obviously trying to keep his balance, anticipating the unavoidable landing on the surface. You remember ing form here, ing form here. I don't know why, my friends. I feel that they add to your score. Please try to, like with the tutor or on your own, work out this habit of adding ing forms. They really decorate your language. They embellish your sentences. Yeah, so these 2 sentences will give you more than 110, I promise you, my friends. If they don't, then the question arises, what do they want from us to have 100? I feel that it will be like 130, something like that, 135, 140. Yeah, because I've seen hundreds and hundreds of your descriptions, so I can make a correlation. Please, my friends, think about what you would write here if you were on your own. You know, yes, I cannot, like they say, be in your physical shoes like during the real test, so I cannot know your logic. But remember, please, that you get the high score for your reasoning, that you describe the center. For the action, you try to use verbs, of course. And of course you try not to reproduce any words. By the way, let's look here. Which words we have repeated? Apart from they, and something like that. Boy, no. Skateboard, no. Downward slope, no. Underwater, landing instead of falling. Balance, anticipating. So you see, my friends, I didn't repeat anything. Yes. Of course, it's not always possible, not always, yes. So we don't have to be flawless, you know, flawless, like perfect, immaculate. We don't have to be. So we have to be perfect enough to get what we want at Duolingo. So perfectionism is good, but not always. So like self-criticism. On the other hand, remember, please, my friends, this is your performance, like competition. Your Duolingo is your championship of the world, to which you have been preparing for 20 years, and so now treat it like this. You give it all you have, all your potential. You jump, like you turn over the top in order to get what you want. That's why you focus, you zoom in, you like dissolve yourself in this process. You know, you plunge into this, and then you come to, as they say, after you finish the test, complete the test, then you return to your senses. Okay, my friends, during our lessons we of course also describe and discuss these psychological aspects, and I think it's time to stop this lesson, because maybe you will get angry with me that 2 sentences I have stretched for 20 minutes. You know, I'm a teacher all my life, and this is my nature, this is my creed. I want to be maybe a bit boring to you, but the more we chew on this, the higher the probability that during the real test you will remember it, recall it automatically by default, you know, without any effort on your part. So think about it. Probably I have stylistic like mistake somewhere, not even a mistake, incongruence, something like that. Anyway, if you like some of my phrases, please, you're welcome to borrow them, to cram them, and to put them into your descriptions. written and oral as well, speaking as well. You know, the principle is the same, I tell you, my friends. Just in speaking, you are welcome to connect these sentences with some transitional elements, all that stuff, you know, but the principle is the same. No difference, no absolute. You have to be interesting, you have to be rich in the language, you have to be logical, and so then you will have 150 or even more. Okay, my friends, if you need assistance in your preparation to Duolingo, test, IELTS, TOEFL, please drop me a line. I'm always happy to read some messages from you, and in most cases we will work out together some strategy. So I will help you as a tutor. Also, I have a very nice video course called DET with flying colors. It includes 90 lessons, 91 actually, of about 45 to 50 minutes each. It will allow you to prepare by yourself on your own, you know. Yes, so please write to me, I will tell you everything. Okay, my friends, please like and subscribe. I love it very much, and looking forward to see you in our next lesson.